What's up, guys? Welcome to the Higher View podcast. I'm here with my better half, Alexis. Say hello to the people. Hello. This podcast is dedicated to the creative, the outside thinker, and the believer, and everybody who's seeking community and healthy views on worldly topics. If this is your first time, welcome to the show.
Welcome
to the adventure.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, we're so glad to have you. On this episode, we're going to be going over really just a general aspect and conversation about walking in your own uniqueness, honoring your uniqueness, and what that looks like for us. And we just want to share that information with you guys. Maybe you can resonate with it and take part in it. So, you know what's weird and hard to get used to?
What is that?
Talking to people you can't see. Wait. It came out a little weird. Not like
I mean, I feel like I
you know what I'm saying? Like we have to talk to people over the camera, but we can't see them. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Not like
I get
I'm
it.
in
No,
the
it
corner
came out. It
talking
came
to
out
people.
good. It came out good. I'm pretty sure people know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't mean like I'm in the corner talking to people that I can't see. I don't.
That did not even cross my mind that that's what you meant.
I don't hear voices in my head. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that would be a little strange. I would be questioning if. Yeah, I would be questioning everything.
She can confirm. You've never seen me do that, right?
No.
So, let's jump right in.
Okay.
For you, let me just ask you this. What does it look like to walk in your own uniqueness?
You know, that's a everyday decision, I feel like.
Very true.
Yeah. I think whenever I think about that, the first thing that comes to my mind is how can I not walk in my uniqueness? And I think that's comparison. Like the moment I start comparing myself to the people around me, I'm wanting what they have. I'm wanting to dress or look the way that they look. It's robbing my uniqueness. So that's the first thing that comes to my mind. And the gifts, the talents, or the things that you do, like anything that you do it you. Like, does that make sense? Am I making
do
sense?
it you. Yeah.
Yeah, like do it. Don't do it like anybody else.
Yeah.
Do it like you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that can be a little hard for some people, especially because we live in a social media world and where we have an opportunity to compare ourselves every single second. But the moment that comes, you have to cast that thought, like bring that thought captive, just like take it away. Don't come in agreement with that thought because it's robbing you from living your purpose and your unique life.
Yeah. And when you say like bring that thought captive, for people that have never heard that term, like I guess you can, to put it in like a visual term, when you have like a thought, you know, we're human, and I hope whoever is listening is a human as well. You're human, so you get thoughts.
Maybe your dog is listening too.
We get thoughts. Sometimes we get thoughts that we wonder like, where did that come from? Or why am I thinking that? And when she says to bring that thought captive, it's really like to grab that thought and almost like throw it away in the trash can of your own head. Like file it away into the folder of not needed.
Ooh, that just reminded me, there's this little book, like it's this like little tiny book that was given to us. I forget what it's called.
Get a lot of books.
It was like the key to your home. I think that's what it was called. The key to your home.
Oh, who gave that to us?
Pastor Darla. Shout out Pastor Darla.
Shout out Pastor Darla.
She gave it to us at our retreat for House
That's
College.
right. Yeah.
And I read it, and the whole thing is so good, but it talks about, you know, the key to your home. Like you are your home. Like the kitchen is your heart. Then there's like the living room. And so what you just said reminded me of like when you throw away that thought, it reminded me of like when you're in the kitchen, you're sweeping up like the crumbs, you're sweeping up these things that you don't want there anymore, and you're literally throwing it away. So it's like those thoughts or that perspective that you have gained throughout your life, and you're like, I want a new perspective. Like, this is what we just heard from Pastor Micah today at church. He said that poison perspective. I was like, that's so good, because I can relate to that. You know, like, I can have in the past, I mean, like, I've had a poison perspective towards things, and sometimes I can catch myself thinking in a comparison perspective or a negative perspective, and it's like, no, I want to sweep that up and just throw that away. Like, I don't even want to come in agreement with that perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I think I have talked about this on my Instagram, like on my personal Instagram, about honoring your uniqueness. Just because that term, I think that came to me through another podcast that I was listening to, like, about honoring your uniqueness. When we honor our own personal uniqueness, it gives us the ability to walk in it more freely. And I think that's a good way to put it. But honor your uniqueness, meaning we're here to do something different. You know, you're not here to do something that your parents did. You're not here to do something that that person you looked up to did. Or maybe you are, like, maybe you're called to do something along those lines, but you're called to do it the way that you are supposed to do it, like your unique way.
Nobody's gonna do it like you.
Yeah, no one's gonna do it like you. Exactly. Like, you're gonna have your own paint stroke. You're gonna have your own texture.
I love it.
Put it in some art forms. But yeah, honor your uniqueness. You know, let yourself be you. Let yourself be whatever it is that you're supposed to be. Allow it. You know, give yourself that allowance. We were even talking about this in the car, you know, when you're talking about, like, how we look. Like, these are how we look is given to us.
Yes.
You know, and we're supposed to be grateful for how we look, no matter if we're happy with it or not.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a huge part of honoring your uniqueness as well. Being able to be grateful for all that you have, all that you look for, head to toe.
Thank you for this hair. Thank you for, or even, like, I think it was I don't know. I heard this somewhere. I don't remember. I heard this. Okay. But it was like they were doing their makeup or something. Like, God, thank you for these brows. Like, you want your brows to be more full or something like that. So you're putting on your eyebrow makeup, and you're like, God, like, I want better brows, you know, but thank you for what I have. So it's pretty much like saying, thank you for what I have, but I want my hair to be longer, or like, that's okay to want to, like, lose weight or get, more fit. It's okay to want those things. You know, you just have to be grateful for where you're at right now, and then strive to do better. Yeah.
In a world that we live in, the world that's transformed to something so different to what we're used to over these past couple years. Like, when I say that, I refer to, like, social media. In a world where we live in social media, where it's so comparable, so easy to compare with somebody else on what they're doing, what they have, how much stuff they have. It can be such a hindrance to even do anything that you want to do, which is, speaking in that term, is honoring your uniqueness. And if you're not able to honor your uniqueness because of comparison, just like you just mentioned, it's robbing your uniqueness. The comparison is robbing your uniqueness. So I got this word yesterday when I was thinking about, like, what to talk about on this podcast. And what it is don't let somebody else's opinion that goes against the grain of your calling let you get off your track. So no matter what other people think about what you're going to be doing, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to get to your goals, your achievements that you want to get to in life, if somebody else's opinion doesn't agree with that, if somebody isn't on the same page with you, and just like Pastor Michael was talking about today, if they don't have the same faith that you would have in your own life, you know, just stretch a hand, brother. Just stretch a hand, you know what I'm saying? But, like, don't let other people's opinion let you get off of your track. You know, like, honor your uniqueness. That's not their life. That's not their path. You know, that's something that we have walked through and are still very much walking through, especially with starting this podcast, starting to get out there on social media, starting to put ourselves out there, starting to get our thoughts together in a collection of things to share to other people. Sometimes it doesn't look good on other people's eyes. Yeah. Sometimes people could take it as intimidating. Sometimes people could take it as we're just trying to...
People are going to have their own opinions.
Yeah, people are going to have their own opinion.
Good or bad.
We can... Sometimes being on social media, it seems like we're trying to flaunt or trying to show ourselves off. You know, because, I mean, that's the world we live in. Yeah. That's how it is. You know? I
can definitely go into a whole thing about social media. I just wanting to have a good perspective about it and not wanting it to control my life, but I want to have control of it. So it's like, I mentioned this to a few friends today that like I turn off my notifications. Like all my social media, my notifications are off and I go on there when I want to. I don't let it take my attention, and it has changed my life. If you're somebody that like struggles with that, or if you even know what I'm talking about, that has literally changed my life. So you can schedule that in your time when to check social media. Like you have control over it, because I feel like our phones can have control over us so much, and it's like give yourself some room, like live in the present moment, you know?
Yeah. And just to put this in there, you're talking about scheduling. I just want to throw this out there. This is like one of the biggest life-changing lessons that we've ever learned at the very beginning of our growth journey, I guess you could say. It's manage your motions, like meet. Manage your motions, you manage your emotions.
Meet.
Yeah. You manage your motions, you manage your emotions. What that means, and that's free, by the way. You don't got to pay for that. But what that means is, you know, when you're managing your day, you're managing your daily task, your weekly task, your monthly task. It's less stressful to have that in your head, you know, once it's on paper. And
like time to time, like I'm waking up at 4:30 a.m. and I'm going to go to the gym until 5. And then from 5 to 6, I'm going to eat breakfast, like stuff like that. Like it just does something. And I'll tell you what, I have not mastered that. No. I have to constantly remind myself, like, I really want to schedule my schedule tomorrow.
It is a hard thing to do. I will.
It helps me so much, and then we don't do it. And it's like when I do it, I don't regret it. I love it. We'll just throw that little.
Yeah, that's a freebie, by the way. Not that you have to pay for any of this, but that's just like an extra freebie. It's like a.
Well, we learned it from somebody else, so
yeah. It
was a freebie for us, kind of.
Kinda. It was kind of paid for, but it's all good. It was still a freebie. Like that one sentence was worth
everything.
Millions. Yeah. Honestly.
Like you can't run like a whole business or a CEO if you don't schedule your time, if you don't like scheduling. Like time is so precious. Like time is everything. Like time could just be slipped like out of our hands real quick. Our day can be like, where did this time go? But yeah,
if you have dreams to be like a business owner, a CEO, or anything like with a big name title, go up to any other person that does that in their life and see if they have their day scheduled, because I promise you they will.
Yeah, but I do want to get back real quick.
Let's do a U-turn. Let's do a U-turn back onto what we're talking about. Your uniqueness. Yeah,
I really liked what you said about how don't really care about what other people's opinions are. Something like that. I forget already. About the grains.
The sentence, don't let someone else's opinion.
Remind me, please.
I said, so don't let somebody else's opinion that goes against the grain of your calling get you off your track.
Yeah. Yeah, so it reminds me of like, and we kind of talked about this earlier too, put on the cap of don't care. Like I don't care what your opinion is. Like, I mean, unless it's somebody in your life that you do care about their opinion.
When you say that, I literally like, because you know I'm just such a visual person, I literally picture a hat that says I do not care on it. I'm putting that on today.
Maybe we should make that.
Maybe we should make that. The High View Podcast I do not care hat.
Because you can't care about what other people's opinions are. People see the outward appearance. And that's in the Bible.
What do you mean by that?
People only see the outward appearance, but God knows the heart. Like, people are going to see the outward you. People are going to judge you. Like, that's human nature. We judge, but you try not to judge. That's why you try to have a higher view towards other people, because when we're around others, like, we're seeing them and they're going through this journey just as much as we are. Like, we're going through our own stuff mentally, spiritually, like everything. Like, it's almost like you have to give those people grace just as much as you're giving yourself grace.
That even goes with, like, speaking on the sense of looking at things from a higher view, because, you know, okay, just like over this whole conversation of how we've been talking, other people can judge, other people can look at what you're doing in life, at what you're trying to accomplish in life, and see it in a negative way or go about it in the wrong way. And you can maybe notice that, but that goes with looking at things from a higher view. Woo, voice cracked a little bit.
It's okay.
That goes with looking at things from a higher view. You know, you look at things from a higher view, you look at from a bird's eye perspective, and you're able to see it as a bigger picture. You're able to see that there's more going on here than what is actually going on right in front of you. You know, other people have probably grown up in judgy environments. Other people have probably been judged their whole life. So maybe that's all they know. You know,
or maybe people got, you know.
There's so much more behind the door that you're seeing. Yeah. You know, open the door, search the room, see what it's about. You know, it's not just what you see in front of you. And I just want to, like, flounder that into people's brains. You know, like, I feel like if people could understand more of that there's so much more behind what you're seeing in front of you, I feel like we would have a lot more better people in this world.
Yeah, it's definitely a habit. It's definitely a habit you have to grasp. And it's practice. It's gaining. What am I trying to say right now? Something about your muscle. It's growing that muscle.
Yeah, it's adding tension to that muscle, causing it to grow.
Yeah, just like your mental muscle. Like you have your brain muscle.
Your brain?
Your brain.
Your brain?
Does your brain have a muscle?
I think the brain is a muscle. Oh. Nah, I'm probably wrong. I think the brain's a tissue, actually.
I've been wanting to say this, though, because earlier in the podcast, earlier in this episode, when I brought up, like, maybe your dog's listening, I started thinking about our dogs. Our dog Ava, and how yesterday we were on a walk, and I had this whole thought, and I was like, and this is a question for you guys too, but it's like, do dogs think thoughts? Or is it like an instinct? Like, do you think, because our dog, like, she's a border collie and an Australian mix, we'll have to show you guys her one day, but she is so smart. She's a very smart dog.
It's a smart breed.
Yeah, it's a very smart breed. So when we took her out, because we didn't take her out all day, but we took her outside for a walk, and her brain is just everywhere, like everywhere. Like, anytime she heard something, she's like,
this is her nose.
She's like,
so question of the day. You guys leave an answer in the comments or on Instagram or wherever you want to leave this. Question of the day. Do dogs think thoughts?
Or is it
it straight instinct?
I would really like to know that question.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Anyways, I think how I found my uniqueness, it was definitely like a slow process. And I know growing up into my like teenage years, into like high school and all that, I think I would say that's kind of like my biggest struggle, is finding my own uniqueness and finding out like what I want to do. I think I was asked so much as a kid, like, what do I want to do, that I just didn't know. But I mean, that's just part of my process. And that's what makes me so much more unique to this day, because I had to struggle through that, and I added tension in my life, you know, to get that muscle growing, to get that muscle of uniqueness growing in my life. So it really wasn't until after high school that I started to see the world differently. And I would like to say a lot of that goes to credit traveling. And like when you travel, it's a known fact. Like when you travel, your brain is naturally expanded because you're seeing other things. You're getting outside of your box.
Yeah.
And especially moving out from like my hometown into like a bigger city, or even if you do move from your hometown, like that will naturally expand your palate, like naturally, because you're getting out of your comfort zone. But I think after high school and being able to travel a little bit, get to see the world a little bit, is really what made me see the world a little different. What really made me start questioning how things are, how life is, why life is certain things, my relationship with God, like just searching for new things in life. It just started getting my brain going, like after high school. And that's when I started to find interest in new things, started learning new things, and started investing in myself, which is huge. And if you're not investing in yourself at least an hour a day and at least $100 a month, you need to change something. Like you got to invest in yourself for sure.
Well, what does that look like?
Investing in yourself, reading books,
Mm-hmm.
teaching yourself something, and investing in products to take, like to help your body.
Yeah.
You know?
Even like this, like taking the time to listen to a podcast that you feel like will challenge your thinking, encourage you, build you up. You're investing in yourself.
Right now, we're investing in ourselves.
Yes.
We spent time investing in ourselves with this whole podcast.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing we set up, we invested into it, and now we get to talk on it and reap the benefits of it.
Yeah. Invest in finding, somebody that you want them to pour into you, like a mentor. That's investing in yourself.
Yeah, which is also really, really important, having
Mm-hmm.
a mentor in life. That will give you it's kind of like a cheat code in life, honestly.
Yeah.
But what was I talking about?
Kind of your story about your uniqueness, finding your uniqueness.
Yeah, so I think really what made me start to peak, I guess you could say, in my interest in uniqueness was when I got around community. Community really changed the game. That was like the key to unlock that door, I felt like. And this is just like specifically tuned to my life. Like when I found community and I started being around other people, other creative people, like people that were interested in the same stuff that I was interested in, that's really what started everything. That started me getting going. That started me to start to see things from a different perspective and start to see things in a new way, start to want new things, start to do different things, start to hang out with new people. And I know there's probably a couple people that listen from high school. There was like a transition of me literally not talking to anybody from high school after I graduated, except for like, I think Tristan was the only person I stayed in contact with, but I didn't talk to anybody after high school. I kind of just like left and ducked off. And there's no like specific reason. It was just to like find my own uniqueness. Like this was just my own walk. Like I just wanted to be different. Like I wanted something different. And that just caused me to step away. And that's how I stepped into a new community and started meeting other new people. But I think community in general is so helpful in so many different ways besides that point. And I think if you are able to go out and find a community, you should. And if you're craving to find a community, then you got to put that time in.
It's so healthy for you.
You got to invest into that.
So healthy for your
Yeah.
soul. We're not meant to be isolated and alone. We're just not. We're supposed to do life together,
Yeah. Just like in the Bible, to bring this up biblically, when in the beginning in Genesis, when God created Adam, he created Eve. He didn't create a one person. That just shows how much of community that is so important.
Yeah.
Togetherness. We're supposed to be together. We're supposed to have people to relate to. We're supposed to have people to connect with. It's so important.
So.
And we can speak that from experience. And
I'm sure everybody can since like the pandemic and all that stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
We all got to experience what it looks like to not be around community, and we all now it's just amazing to be able to be in community. Like, why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah.
Man. Let's not talk about the pandemic. We all know.
It's such a crazy world, man.
It is a crazy world.
It's this is probably like another rabbit hole to get into, but I just want to like bring this up a little bit, like how the pandemic was such. I mean, it was like a tragic thing that happened to like the whole world, I guess. I mean, tragic in a way where like it wasn't. Obviously, it killed a lot of people, and my dearest condolences to anybody that lost a person to the COVID-19. My dearest condolences. But media made it seem like a lot different than what it actually was. You know, I feel like the pandemic was more fear than an actual pandemic. Because if you see now today, like even after the pandemic, what do you see like on social media? Still like something new coming out. Monkeypox, the bird flu, or not the bird flu, but like monkeypox, whatever.
I mean, it's always negative. It's always fear-based, and it's good to be updated and not like in your own world, so you know what's going on out there and you know what to pray for or whatever, however you want to view that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you can't let that paralyze you from living life. Like, you don't want to be paralyzed in fear. And even to bring it back around to your identity, your uniqueness, your purpose, and all that, fear and anxiety will steal that away from you, just like comparison. But I'm definitely learning that like fear is definitely something I don't want to come in agreement with. I feel like when I experience fear, it's like I'm having a fear of what's right in front of me. I'm having a fear of not succeeding in this. I'm having a fear of that, whatever you're fearful of.
I think one of my biggest fears that I've definitely gotten closer to overcoming, but I think I could definitely say that I am still getting on that journey of overcoming it, is fear of success. Fear of success.
I mean, I know that we're going to experience fear. Like,
it's a human feeling. You know, I think it's inevitable.
You can't let that paralyze you.
Yeah.
Like, fear can be a feeling, but what are you going to do with that feeling? You're going to be fearful to step out and be you? Because then, like, the whole thing is the world needs you to be you. Like, think about, like, I envision a tree trunk, and I envision the branches off the tree. The tree trunk is you, and the branches are all the people that are you're, like, connecting and meeting with. And then there's seasons where it, like, blooms and becomes, like, a flower, you know, like, on the tip of the branches. And I envision that being those people that you're meeting, and then it's, like, those seeds that you planted and in their life and stuff, and the season comes, and then the rain comes because other people are watering what you planted. Like, as simple as an encouragement or sharing your testimony to them, they're going to blossom. Yeah. You know, they just needed to hear you. They needed to see you walking in your uniqueness.
Yeah. So check this out. So this is how it works in the Christian world.
Let's hear it.
In the body of Christ, you know, how that word, the body of Christ, the body is made up of many different components. The human body was what I'm thinking of. The stuff that you're learning about. The body is made up of so many different components. So when we talk about the body of Christ, to bring this into like a biblical sense, so just follow along with me. The body of Christ needs your own uniqueness. You need to be unique. You cannot be like the other person. You cannot be like the person that's on stage.
You can't be an arm acting like a leg.
You can't be an arm acting like a leg. The whole body has to operate in synchrony.
Ooh.
Hey. So if you're a listener, or if you're supposed to be a listener but you're doing too much talking and you're acting like a mouth instead of an ear, then you're not going to be able to learn as much because you're doing too much talking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's a mouth, there's eyes, hands, arms, legs, feet, all scattered everywhere, right? There's a dismembered body on the floor, Okay, it's bloody. It's horrible.
Oh my gosh.
It's everywhere.
No. No.
I'm kidding, but none of that works together, or none of that works
Mm-hmm.
if it's not together. If no one is acting in their uniqueness, it doesn't work. So in the body of Christ, you have to be your uniqueness. You have your own special role.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say this.
I'm excited to hear it.
I've told you this before, and
What's going on?
I don't want to, like, this is just an opinion. Like, please don't get offended by this. But I feel that the Christian community worldwide lacks originality. I think there's not enough people doing things that they're called to do. Correction. I think there's not enough good people doing things that they are called to do. I think there's too many good people getting off track because of someone else's opinion goes against the grain of their calling. I think there's not enough people stepping into what they need to be stepping in because of fear. It robs it.
Mm-hmm.
Comparison.
Anxiety.
All of that.
Anxiety goes with fear.
And the cherry on top.
Fear is the root.
Yes, but there's too many. There's too many people. And there's not enough doing.
So how, if you can relate to that, and like you just feel that kind of like feeling, you're like, oh, maybe I do that. Because I think we all have done that one way or another. And we just have to make the decision to not want to do that. So speaking to the ones that can relate, how can we not fall into that? And how can we live out our uniqueness and purpose?
I think you really have to do some inner study. I think you really have to know what you like. You really have to know what pulls you, and not emotionally, but like internally, if that makes sense. Like, you don't want to follow your emotions, but you want to follow what pulls you.
Like, what are your desires?
What are your desires? What are your dreams? Like, what are your goals? Like, one of my biggest dreams is to be an entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur. And a lot of people, and this may be just in my own head, and I'm sure part of it is, but there's people that I've came across that are just weird about money and like having a lot of money. And I don't know why people are so weird about that. Like, people having money. I feel like sometimes people see being poor as holy, poverty as holy. Like, that's not how we're supposed to live at all. I think people are just weird about having a lot of money. And I think, as well as the originality thing, there's not enough good people in this world with money.
Because you can do a lot of things with money.
The world runs on it. Yeah. Imagine the things that you can do, the people you can reach, the things you can accomplish, build. Like, dude, people have such a lower view instead of a higher view when it comes to money. And that applies to a lot of different things.
I feel like we can get in a whole conversation about that.
Yeah. But I just say that to say that's one of my uniquenesses. That's one of my is that a word? Uniquenesses? That's one of my unique...
Ask Google.
characteristics. That's one of my unique characteristics. I just want to be a successful entrepreneur.
Nothing wrong with that.
And why? I mean, the only reason I want to do that is to help people. Mm-hmm. Like, my main goal is to help people.
And we're supposed to leave my mind's going blank. But we're supposed to leave...
an inheritance.
Thank you.
For your kids, your lifeline, your bloodline. Yeah. You know, that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not. You know, don't be weird about money. Don't be weird about getting money. Like, you're weird. If somebody thinks money's weird, you're weird.
But to tie all this together,
I'm sorry we're kind of rabbit holing, going other places. Our car is switching lanes. We need an alignment. Okay?
That's actually real life.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that to say, honor your uniqueness, honor the desires that come into your heart. I think we were talking about.
Oh yes,
Oh,
thank
man.
you.
So sorry, guys.
The desires.
Like how do you find that out? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like how can you walk out your uniqueness? That was the question, and then we went into how what are the desires in your heart?
Like I was saying, you just have to do some self-studying. Inward study. I just wanted to get on here and let everybody know that this is actually going to be our very last episode. We're deciding to not pursue this. So thank you guys. I'm just kidding. Our battery has died to our camera. So this next part seems like a little bit of a jump cut. So I'm sorry, but join us next week, guys. We really just wanted to cover the whole message about being unique in your own way. So that's the whole point we're trying to get to. I'm sorry that we're rambling so much, but that's it, guys. Now, here is the rest of the episode. All right, so it seems like the camera is dying. Our equipment is dying, so we have to go. I'm so sorry. We have to cut this short. This was a great conversation. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to YouTube. Let us know how we're doing. Talk to us, guys. DM us. Let us know anything that you guys, if there's a specific topic that we could probably cover for you, let us know.
Yeah.
Until then, see you next week.
See you next week.
Love you guys.
Love ya.
Bye.